message for the ladies and gentlemen around the world and all the ships at sea.
We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us.
So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever shows are found, on whatever platform you choose. And as always, leave us a positive review. Would you kindly?
Don't spoil the endgame.
Don't do it.
Don't spoil the endgame.
I'm watching you.
Don't spoil the endgame. I'm watching you. Seriously. Don't spoil the endgame.
It's Erik Nagel. And it starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
It's Erik Nagel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of It's Erik Nagel. That is myself. Over in the Upside Down is my buddy Giddles.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Phone lines are open. 651-SMITHERS. That's 651-764-8437. Follow the show across the board on social media at It's Erik Nagel. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. You guys have really been doing us a big favor by subscribing to the YouTube channel. The numbers really have jumped, and we're pretty damn close to getting it over 1,000. And then that will open up some other stuff that we can do with the account. I'm looking real quick at the time that we're doing this show. See what we're at. We are at 995.
Oh my God, we're 5 away.
We're 5 away.
So close.
Come on, don't make me make fake accounts just to boost this up for 5 subscribes, 5 follows.
You're gonna make 5 accounts, Eric. That's way too much work.
If I have to,
we can get 5 people to hit.
I like your confidence. I think we can definitely do that as well. But if we can't, I'll make 5.
If we can't,
accounts.
we know Eric will go take one for the team.
Yes, I will make YooHoo mail accounts because that service will go away and I'll forget about it.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, welcome to the program. Lots to talk about, lots to get into. As always, it is Endgame weekend. That's all everybody's talking about. And I've done a very good job of avoiding a lot of social media so that I don't see anything ruining the movie for me.
Wait, which game is ending?
The Game of Thrones is ending.
Oh, that's this week?
Yes.
No. It's just some sort of Endgame thing.
Yeah, the Endgame of Thrones.
Oh, Ender's Game. There's that remake that's coming out. That's right.
And then the Family Guy, Futurama knockoff of Bender's Games.
Yes.
Yes. That was terrible.
It'll be a Marvel.
Yes. Puns, finish, and scene. There we go. Anyway, yes, so it's Marvel Endgame, which is the big, spectacular finale for 11 years of movie magic that Disney and Marvel have put together, and also to finalize this saga and then open up the next saga that's going to happen in the Marvel world, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you will, for the next 10, 20, 30 years. There's a lot to go into with
30 years, Eric?
Look, each movie's making almost, if not more than $1 billion. They'll just keep doing it.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I think Captain Marvel is like 1.6 billion.
Jeez, man.
Do you think Endgame would have enough push to get it to the 2 billion mark?
Oh yeah, I guarantee it will. Like this movie's got so much hype. How much did it already pre-sell in tickets? Didn't it already sell like almost $1 billion in tickets or something? It was
something like their estimate was the pre-sale was about 200 million. And the thing with that is that if you remember, if you listen to the show, or if you were just trying to buy tickets about a month ago when those tickets went on sale, Fandango crashed, AMC crashed, any of those movie services all crashed when they opened up the tickets because they launched a new teaser trailer at the same time that they opened up the box office to do pre-sale tickets for Endgame. Well, the estimate was that opening weekend domestically was going to do anywhere from $215 to $250 million. And I was reading an article saying that last year for Infinity War, the estimate was like 180 to 222 million, and it opened at almost $260 million. And that was just, domestically. So right now, I'm looking at the box office. We're doing this show on opening night, Thursday, April 25th in the year of our Lord 2019. This is the official opening nationwide for us of Endgame. It opened in a bunch of foreign markets, including China, yesterday. And it's already made $160-something million just in 11 countries.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's going to make a lot of money, dude.
Ton of money.
They're just going to, eventually, they're just going to buy a country. And they're going to be like, this is superhero land. And this is just that you can just live here. You can be a citizen of whatever country you want.
They'll go over into the Mediterranean and they'll buy Italy. And they said, this is now Disney. You are welcome to the country of Disney.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we're heading.
Yeah. And, the northern people don't like the southern people because northern is Star Wars country and the southern is MCU. And then all the little islands are all the other, like, is Pixar Island, Buena Vista, whatever else they own.
Which country is the DC universe?
That is Detroit.
Oh, that's not even a country.
It's Flint, Michigan at this point.
Oh, no. Oh.
We talked about that Joker movie. I don't know if I'm really. I think I'll wait for on demand. I keep thinking about it. I don't think I'm going to go to the theater to see that. And then James Gunn has the reboot. It was supposed to be a sequel. Now it's an unofficial reboot sequel. It's like a both thing for Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah.
He's redoing all that. And then as soon as he's done with that, he jumps back to Disney and gets to work on Guardians 3.
I'm interested in that Brightburn movie or whatever it is that's coming out.
I heard about it. I don't know what it's about.
It's about like these people and they have this kid who has superpowers and they're raising him, but then they're starting to realize that he doesn't have superhero powers for good. He's like a bad guy type thing. And he's just like this evil child. And it's kind of like that Rick and Morty episode with the Zorp.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like watch the trailer. Like the trailer is pretty crazy.
All right, I'll have to do that.
Yeah, because it starts off, it's like a Superman type story, and then it's just like, oh wait, this kid's like really, really fucked up and just wants to ruin things. It looks good. But James Gunn produced it. I don't know, it was something he did after the whole, firing and rehiring and stuff.
Right. Huh. All right, I'll have to definitely take a look for that.
Yeah, it looks great.
But I am going to go see Endgame. Are you going this weekend?
What? No.
You're not?
I me, I don't keep up on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like I've seen maybe 4 of the movies.
Well, this I think transcends the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This movie seems to be more of a cultural event worldwide rather than just a superhero movie.
Yeah, but it's a cultural event worldwide that you had to previously see the other movies for. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see any of the Thor movies. I saw half of Guardians of the Galaxy. I saw Iron Man 1, and then, what else I see? I saw Black Panther and Doctor Strange. Like, I don't have enough knowledge going into this movie to have any idea what's going on. This would be like going into the third Lord of the Rings movie. You know what I mean? Like,
I can imagine taking you to the theater and you're just going, "Who's that guy? Who's that lady? What is that guy doing? Why is he purple?"
And they'd be like, "Sir, we're gonna gag your child."
I'm not a child. I'm 34 years old.
We're gonna murder him then.
They throw the big popcorn bag over your head and then you're escorted out and
they just drag me out
to a round of applause.
Yeah.
Everybody in IMAX glasses is watching you in 3D getting beat and dragged out. It's just like it's real. It is real, son.
It is real. This blood is 4D. I feel. Oh, geez.
4K, son.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go Friday, 3 p.m. I wanted to do a day movie because I don't like going to the movies at night anymore. I'm not into it as a date kind of thing. I'm not even into it as friends going to hang out at night. Just something about going to the theater at night just seems to kind of...
Is it creepy to you?
No, it just kind of dampens the movie experience because there's just too many... We're in a time now
where too many excited people outside and you just want to go...
Not even excited people, but we're in a time where everybody is only thinking about themselves. So you got people talking, you got people playing their phones during, the word jumble or the 13th Coca-Cola film strip that you saw before the movie. and they're playing their Spotify playlist. They're on FaceTime with whoever they're talking to until the exact point when the movie starts. It's just there's too many variables that nowadays, with everybody being so self-centered, so selfish, and everything's all about everybody, that going there just ruins the experience at night. Plus, it's so overcrowded. So I like going during the day because you can focus. There's not as many people, and people are just there to for business. They're there to watch the movie and not fuck around.
Oh, dude, the movie theaters by me are awesome. Like, there's the one theater they don't even let kids in. And then there's other theaters where it's just chill. Like no one's like annoying. It's always comfortable. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I don't.
Last time I was there, I saw Us, and the only annoying thing was, and I don't know why this is just a really ridiculous audience story, but I'm sitting there and like how you see people are always like doing shit on their phones,
right?
So before the movie starts, like 4 rows in front of me, I just see these two guys just like eating popcorn and like laughing hysterically and then just going through pictures of like women actors from the 80s with really big hair. And it was really strange because they were just going through and just having a jolly old time. And me and my friends, we pointed it out. We're like, yeah, look at those guys. And I got a little bit of video of it on my phone because it was just so ridiculous. I was like, these guys are just looking at big haired people from the 80s.
Were they just kind of like regular guys? Were they effeminate guys that were saying, oh my God, look at her hair? Like they would trash.
No, they were just like two like dude bros, just like, yo, dude, check this out, like eating popcorn and shit. It was ridiculous.
Maybe they're not.
That's what I have to deal with. I don't have to deal with kids. I just have to deal with seeing stupid shit like that, and then I have to think about it. And I'm like, I really want to know what those guys were doing. Just looking at these pictures.
That is pretty weird.
Yeah, that was a really stupid story, but I had to add that.
No, I think I would rather enjoy that than kids screaming and people talking loud on their phones, not paying attention, and what have you. But
none of them kids.
Yeah, Friday during the day, and it's a 3-hour movie. It's
3-hour tour.
Right. 3 hours and 6 minutes, I think. Something like that is the full runtime, and that includes the credits. Is this the all right, you're showing me the video right here of them just... Yeah, well, I don't get what they're doing. This is a rather weird thing for regular guys to be doing.
Just going through big pictures, like eating popcorn, having a good old time.
It's like, yeah, wait.
I had to take video. I was so confused.
Dude. Check out Bernadette Peters.
Yeah. No, Susan Sarandon and Alien. Yeah, look at that. Not Susan Sarandon.
This is Victoria Jackson from Saturday Night Live. Idiots.
Fucking
anyway.
So stupid.
Actually, I'm going to eat this now that I have it here in the studio. It's dried white peaches from Trader Joe's. You enjoy the dehydrated fruits, do you, Giddles?
I do, actually. Sigourney Weaver. I don't know why I said Susan Sarandon. I'm an idiot.
She had big hair in Bull Durham.
She did, yeah.
Yeah.
I had my movies confused.
Well, her hair wasn't necessarily big. It was more teased.
Yeah, it was picked on.
Peaches. People love...
What are you eating, Eric? Dehydrated peaches? Can I have some?
You can.
Throw them to me.
There you go. Dried white peaches. Really good.
Oh, I didn't get any peaches. All I got was all this money.
Wow, where'd you get that from?
I got paid.
Did you get?
I got to pay rent.
Should have said you picked the pockets of the two dudes looking at big hair on the phone.
Yeah, while they were looking at the big hair, I was taking all their money. So you're excited for this movie, Eric? What do you think is going to happen in it? What is your predictions?
Well, I can't say.
But it's a guess. Like, no one's seen this, and this is coming out afterwards. So, like, you already stated that you haven't seen it. So
here's the thing.
You can speculate, right? I could say I think Iron Man does a backflip. Like, that could happen, right?
It could. It definitely could. I can't really say because, one, I don't know. The early reviews that were coming out, I'm not talking about critics or even audience people, but, like, reputable people who like this genre, who are known for not spoiling a lot of things and really you can trust their opinion on some of this stuff, have said that this was not what they were expecting and it was everything and more. So there's a lot.
All they're saying is, like, what do you want to happen? Like, what is something that, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, not
okay, what do I want to happen?
Yes,
okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you want to happen? Like, it's not like based on critics or anything. Like, what do you want?
My guesses are this. And if for those listening, if you are super freaked out that you think that anything here can be a spoiler, feel free to jump ahead. There's the time cues in the podcast and in your player there. You can jump ahead.
But we haven't seen the movie, and none of us have read any of the spoilers.
Correct.
So this is all speculation.
So what I hope is that they find some way to tease at the end, because this chapter, this phase of the MCU is coming to an end, and going into the next phase is supposed to be more celestial, right? More stuff off of Earth and other places going on, with occasional Avengers movies appearing here and there, but it's not going to be, here are all the Avengers, then here are them separate in their own movies. Now here they are again, and then separate in their own movies. It's going to be new people. Like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to lead the way for the new phase, and then hopefully you're going to see a whole bunch of other stuff that has yet to be introduced in the Marvel Universe. So it's very exciting. The Marvel Universe has a lot of characters, a lot of stories that have not even been introduced or even referenced to yet. So they have plenty of material to go another 10 years and do this again, as they're doing now. But for right now, for Endgame, I'm hoping they find a way, now that they have the property, to somewhat tease the big bad at the end of the next run, hopefully being Galactus. Galactus is tied into Silver Surfer, which is tied into Fantastic Four. So you don't need to. They only just finished the deal at the beginning of this year, and we're almost 5 months into the year. So you're not going to see X-Men, because they said already that X-Men are not going to be part of this for a while. They're going to reboot it in a couple of years from now. Fantastic Four, they've already got their whole shit set up for the next 3 years. I think they said 3 or 4 years. So they have a plan. They have a way of they're going to do it. I think they can. I think this came from Matt O.G. too. That if it's somewhere at the end, you see Silver Surfer hovering over the Earth just for like a split second. It's all CGI, so you don't need to cast anybody for it, and that just alludes that somewhere down the line this will happen, and you don't need to show it again for the next few years. You know, so you can get away with it. So I hope Galactus is the big bad, but I think more realistically is that
isn't Galactus gigantic?
Yes, he's the Eater of Worlds. I would think that at the end of in the credit scenes of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they show the creation of Adam Warlock. And in the Infinity Stories, there's a story where Adam Warlock takes the Infinity Gauntlet off Nebula, who is Thanos' daughter, because she got the glove away from her dad, and then she went crazy with power because she couldn't handle it, so she started going insane, and he had to take it from her. So then he was wielding the gauntlet, and he was, doing things the right way for the most part. So I think since we saw his creation at the end in the cutscene or the credit scene of that movie, we haven't seen or heard from him since. So I think this would be the time where he shows up, and that would make him a big part of the next phase or 2 phases going into the MCU.
So, question for me who hasn't kept up. I know that Howard the Duck was teased at the end of one of the movies. Has he come back yet? Is he going to be in the next phase?
I don't know if they're going to make him fully functional, but he's been in a couple of the movies. Usually just background Easter egg kind of things, and that's with the Guardians movies, because he's in outer space. You saw him once in a cage or a cell with the Collector at one point with Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and then you saw him at a bar somewhere, and I think maybe Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Okay, so there's really not a lot. I don't think they could really tie in logically to Howard the Duck, which would be hysterical if they could. But
he saves the day.
For some reason, at the end of oh my god, at the end of Endgame, it was Howard the Duck that saved the universe.
Yeah,
everybody's scratching their heads like, this is not the direction I thought it was going.
Yeah, this is not where I thought. And it's like phase 2, bitches, Duckland,
and then
it's
you hear
Duck
the
universe,
and then you hear the DuckTales theme.
Yeah, it's like we don't have Galactus, we have Gaquactus.
Well, I'm excited, but enough of Endgame. Enough of Endgame. I haven't seen you in a while, man. Last time we talked, you were away for a weekend because you went upstate to see your friends.
Yep.
And have your big nerd fest in the woods, if you will. Now, this past weekend was a big celebration for your family with Passover. So you went out to see some of your family. How'd that go?
That went all right. I went to Jersey on Friday to my cousin who lives down in Asbury Park. And that was pretty good. It was, a quick little trip. I was down there maybe for like an hour and a half, ate some food, and got back on the train and back to the city. So I feel like I was on the train longer than I was actually at his place.
Right.
And then Saturday I went out to my dad's and hung out there and did the same thing. So it was good,
Good to reconnect.
Holiday season stuff.
Right. I had Easter. Now, usually I don't do anything for Easter, just because my family doesn't do a whole hell of a lot because they all go to the other sides of their families or what have you. And I kind of like it. It's a big holiday where I don't have to go and do anything. And then you get to cook.
Do you color eggs for yourself?
No, I hated.
Why not?
I never liked coloring eggs, even as a kid.
Why?
Just because the vinegar smell used to just make me nauseous.
But you love vinegar.
I like eating
vinegar.
You eat
pickles.
I understand that, but as a kid, putting them in those coffee cups with the little tablets and the
broken hanger piece.
Yeah, whatever, that little thin, flimsy copper thing that was shaped like an octagon.
Yeah, it looked like if you took the thing off of a champagne cork, the little guard.
Oh yeah, the little twist to hold the foil over the cork.
Yeah.
So you're trying to pick the eggs up, and then it always bends after the second egg. It just bends. So then you try to.
It's not meant to hold an egg,
but it's supposed to. It's supposed to be. You're supposed to go in there to take the egg out of the cup, and it can't do the job that it was created for.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you try to get a teaspoon to do it, and then as you do it, the egg starts to roll a little bit, and you're trying not to roll, so you put your finger on it, but now there's a big white spot because your finger was on it, and then when you try to put it somewhere else, there happened to be dye in the bottom of the spoon, so that spills all over, especially if you're trying to, I'm only coloring half the egg when you have to be fucking
such a mess.
different.
You have to try and hold it and balance it there.
I want blue on one side and yellow on the other side. Drop, now it's green. There you go, one color done.
And then you make egg salad and it's all colored because it bleeds through the shell.
No, because do you like hard-boiled eggs?
I don't mind them.
I like if you're somewhere and they have deviled eggs, like at a nice barbecue place.
Deviled eggs are great.
At a nice barbecue place that maybe has a deviled egg appetizer, or if they're served as hors d'oeuvres at certain parties and functions. They're not bad. I like a deviled egg. I just don't like eating a hard-boiled egg as a snack or meal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna eat it as a meal. Like if it's in a salad or on the side or something like that, yeah, I'll have some. But
right,
I'm not gonna sit down and be like, "Time to have some hard-boiled eggs."
Yeah, so you hard-boil the eggs to dye them for Easter. You can't just put regular eggs, which it would be really funny if you saw people actually doing that, and it explodes and there's yolk all over the place. But then they just sit there, and if you're one of those families that does an Easter egg hunt, are you really hiding the colored eggs? Because if you forget where one is, it's going to stink.
Oh, yeah.
If it fell behind the couch. The what?
You hide that outside.
Okay. And then you attract wildlife.
Exactly.
Why are there badgers in the backyard?
That's where the rabbits and the bunnies and everything come from. It's from hiding the eggs. They come over and they're like, "Yo, why are you leaving eggs outside?"
Right. So if you
you're like, "Happy Easter, eat some chocolate."
So if you don't use the hard-boiled eggs for your scavenger hunt, that means they're stacked up in a decorative fashion on a table or a counter somewhere. And then you're expected to eat those things. I don't want to eat a purple-dyed hard-boiled egg.
Why not?
That sounds hideous to me.
They're delicious.
I don't want them.
Because it's like, yeah, they have all different colors. It's like eating a tie-dye thing. It's like a fancy... People pay extra money for tie-dye shit in Brooklyn, dude. You've been eating that for free every Easter as a kid.
I know, because I'm not stupid.
I didn't say anything.
So yeah, I don't like coloring the eggs. I don't like Easter candy. Easter candy is probably the worst holiday candy out of everything. It's really bad.
It's all jelly beans and shit.
It's jelly beans, which I'm not. I know people like jelly beans. They like Jelly Belly, which I'll even say is probably top tier for jelly beans. I don't like any of them.
What's the tier? Is it them and then like Brock's and that's it?
Well, I think Brock's is if it's not last, it's second to last.
Yeah,
because
it's pretty bad.
You have Jelly Bellies, which is top of the food chain. Then below that, I think now you have those candy companies that make their candies into jelly beans, which is a good, strong second tier. So if you like Skittles jelly beans or Starburst jelly beans or Jolly Rancher jelly beans, those I think would be a second tier.
Yeah, it's definitely that's like second tier because that's just like knockoff shit. It's like when Butterfinger tried to make peanut butter cups. It's like, yeah, no, you're not trying. Don't do this.
Yeah, you're barely peanut butter as it is.
Yeah,
don't try to encroach into the world of Reese's that knows what they're doing from day one.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
So, yeah, you have jelly beans. You have Peeps, which everybody hates. You have those hollowed out chocolate rabbits made by Palmer's since the beginning of time. With the sugar confection for the eye that always falls off as soon as you open the damn thing. Or they make the crosses, which is a little creepy in and of itself to eat a hollowed out cross. Some of them have a chocolate Jesus on it, which is sacrilegious. But,
I've never seen the chocolate Jesus, but it sounds delicious.
But if you go to the consumer account on Instagram or on our Facebook, it's Erik Nagel, the consumer post there, they make selfie bunnies.
No.
Pull it up while I explain what this is. So they have a guy bunny. The disgust makes me so happy. They have a male bunny and a female bunny, and they're both taking selfies of themselves as they hold chocolate cell phones.
Ugh, hold on a second.
What did you do?
No, I'm looking at it.
Okay.
I'm just horrified.
So that apparently is a thing now.
Oof.
Right? It's such a waste of money. And it's not even good chocolate. It's not like Hershey made it or Ghirardelli.
And it's not like that bunny is
Cadbury.
wearing the clothes either. It's obviously just painted on the front. It doesn't go all the way around to the back. Like, This is a horrible product.
Yeah, it is. It's complete garbage. But it just goes to show why Easter has the worst holiday candy.
And it's always hollow chocolate. Like, who the fuck wants hollow chocolate? You want a solid bunny if you're getting chocolate. I don't want hollow. I don't want to bite it and it crumbles like a fucking hard taco. I don't want that shit. I want to bite into it like I'm eating a real rabbit's head. Like, it's gotta be like, and really have to break it hard.
You want a solid bunny that you can put in the freezer and then slam on the table like you're playing dominoes and have it break into pieces, and then you're eating frozen chocolate chunks of dead bunny.
Exactly. And then you melt it, like you heat the room slowly and it forms back together like Terminator 2, and then you have to fight the bunny.
Right. And then you melt it down again, freeze it, and the process comes full circle.
Yeah, it's great when guests are over.
So I didn't do anything for Easter until I had to do something for Easter. So wasn't expecting to do anything for Easter. Then all of a sudden I got told that there were family plans happening. So I'm going to spend Easter with some family. And we go to this restaurant, very lovely restaurant, but I was not happy with my food. And I'll tell you why. So it's a nice upscale Italian restaurant, does steaks, does lamb, does rib. No, they know what they're doing. So they had a special that was a prime New York strip steak that was in a creamy brandy and peppercorn sauce, right? So I'm like, okay, that's not bad. I'll get that. I'll get a small Caesar salad. And because Italian, they have your pasta or antipasta appetizer that goes in between your salad and your meal.
And reminder, if you put pasta and antipasta in the same room together, they will explode.
Yep. And then it becomes the spaghetti incident.
Yep.
Moving on. So the salad and the pasta come out at the same time. So they put down the salad in front of my place, and it's a big table, and we're all kind of cramped together because there's a lot of people. And then he has this other plate, and he looks at me like he's motioning like for me to clear room on the table to put this other thing down. And I'm sitting at a corner, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be right there, pretty much falling off the edge of the table. So I'm looking at him. I go, "What do you want me to do?" And he's just making motion to clear the table off. And I see them doing. I'm like, it's supposed to go in courses. Why are you bringing there's nothing. All right, there's a lot of things worse. I almost used a really bad crutch, but it's very disappointing, I'll say, when you go to a restaurant and they don't know timing for the food service. So you order a bunch of things, right? Say you order an appetizer, you order a salad or a soup or a pasta course, and then your meal. And they bring it all out at once. I'm like, why am I sitting here having 3 different things all at the same time?
Yeah, if I wanted that to happen, I would just cook at home and realize my timing is terrible.
Exactly.
Like, all right, we're having the ice cream before dinner tonight, all right? Sorry.
Exactly. This explains why my salad is filled with Tostino pizza bites.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But guess what? They both get ranch and everything's okay. So
that's awful now.
No, Tostino's pizza bites dipping in ranch, it's delicious. Try it. Hidden Valley Ranch is what I recommend. Anyway, so I'm sitting there. Everybody's got both their courses together, so it's really kind of crowded. Salad's fine. The penny vodka the penny vodka is kind of bland. It was a little disappointing. Like, this is an Italian place. Pasta should be, one of the best things that they're making. It was okay. Then you're waiting a while, and then the food does finally come out. I get the steak. It looks amazing. I cut it open, and it's pink going on gray, which is barely acceptable, but whatever. The sauce, I was like, all right, there's a creamy brandy sauce, peppercorns. Usually I have steak just with horseradish. That's all I'll have it with, pure horseradish. But it's got the sauce. It's a specialty thing. I'll try it. Looking forward to it. The brandy sauce had no flavor whatsoever. So I have another piece. I dip it into the sauce. I'm like, what am I not tasting here? Not only am I not tasting the steak, I'm not tasting the sauce. So
did they forget salt, Eric? Did they forget salt?
They forgot taste.
Ugh.
Flavor in this thing. So I had 2 other people try. I was like, could you do me a favor? Could you just try this and see? And they taste it and they go, yeah, I don't taste anything. I said, I know. How is it? You have a creamy brandy with peppercorn. You should be able to taste something.
Yeah.
It just tastes like nothingness. It just tastes like stale.
Ugh. Yeah, that's awful. Like, you should never go to a restaurant and get food that tastes like nothing. Like, you are specifically going to a restaurant, so that shit will taste amazing.
Right.
If you want it to taste like nothing, you can just cook it at home and forget to put salt on it. Like, that's what you do.
No, I feel bad now, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to, you know what? I'm not paying for this meal. All the families together. I'm not going to say anything. So I eat most of it, but it was not. I'm like you. I grabbed the salt and it was trying anything to do it. But then I noticed a lot of people there got this specialty chicken meal that this place is known for, and I'm just smelling wafts of balsamic vinegar. It's like, ooh, it smells good. So I tried somebody's chicken, and I just dropped my fork, and I go, this is the first time I ever thought, man, I shouldn't have ordered the steak. I should have ordered the chicken. I've never said that. Usually I get the chicken, or sometimes you're like, oh, the salmon looks pretty good, and then it's really kind of and you're like, I should have ordered the steak. You always say I should have ordered the steak.
Yeah.
And I'm saying I should have ordered the chicken. And I'm just looking at this, and I go, this shouldn't be. This should not be.
So did you switch it out? Did
no,
you say,
it was too
please
late.
Take back your bland steak. I want this vinegar chicken.
No, it was too late because it was too late in the meal. And, it was pressing 8 o'clock on a Sunday on Easter. So you could already see that they're closing up half the restaurant as it is.
I want vinegar chicken now. That sounds great.
It does. It was amazing. I should have gotten that chicken, and I really am kicking myself for it. So on the way home, driving home, and all I'm thinking is, you know what? None of that food really did anything. It was very bland. I think I just need to order from the diner. It's open. So I called ahead and picked up from the diner on the way home.
Did you get the steak?
I should have got the steak, but no, I didn't.
What'd you get?
I just did something so stupid. I did mozzarella sticks and a BLT.
I mean, that sounds good.
It's not my usual go-to for the diner. Usually my go-to is the turkey club sandwich. But yeah, I did this, and that's how I spent my Sunday night of Easter. with diner food in comfy clothes watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a fantastic Sunday.
Doesn't it?
I don't see anything worth complaining about there. Like, that all sounds fantastic.
By the time heading home and getting home really made my Easter Sunday. Like, that was the perfect Sunday. Oh, also seeing my family. I liked seeing them and hanging out with them,
of course.
too.
You know, when you get to see them, you have
They're
to.
great, but the food was not. So that kind of dampened the whole thing. So what were we supposed to do? We're supposed to be celebrating that the Lord is risen, and this is inadequate food for the celebration. Although I did get a free turkey from the supermarket because I hit a certain threshold that they do for certain holidays. If you spent this much...
What are you going to do with this turkey, Eric?
I had it Monday.
Oh, my God.
I got it on Friday. No, I went for it Friday, and they were all out. So I had to go Saturday morning early to get it, because people were going nuts, getting free hams, free turkeys, free lasagnas, free vegan meals, all this nonsense that you get for free. Exactly. It was almost supermarket sweep, which would have been fantastic. So I got the turkey. I put it in. I have a secondary fridge in my garage. I put it in the fridge. I'm like, all right, give it a day or so in the fridge instead of the freezer. It should thaw out, and that was not the case. I had to wait for day 2, set it up to cook in the pot while I went to work, came back, took it out. It was all good and ready to go. And then, turkey sandwiches the next day, which are always delicious if you do it the right way. And that was Easter. But
that sounds good. I want a turkey sandwich right now. All I have is this fucking onion that's sitting on my desk, and I have no idea why there's an onion on my desk.
Why do you always push that onion at us, Mom? I just think they're neat.
We wore an onion on our belt. It was the style at the time.
It is the style of the time. That's the line I should have went with, not the fucking potato with an onion.
Not the potato line.
Wah on me. One other incident that happened this week. So
dun, dun, dun.
I've
What
told
happened, Eric?
countless stories about the issues that I've had with my car and the tires with that car.
Oh my God, yes.
So I have this car that's a sports edition of my car, and didn't realize that at the time when I purchased said car that the tires were custom to that vehicle, and there was only one kind of tire that could be used on that vehicle because of the rims that came with the vehicle. So you had,
because they were the special sport rims.
Yeah. So the tire was maybe like 2 inches, maybe 1 to 2 inches thick, but then it's like 9 inches wide. Street ready. Street racing legal, whatever. So I found out over years that anytime I'd get a flat or it would blow or whatever, a replacement tire was over $300 a tire.
Yeah.
And it just got to the point where I was sick and tired of it. And those things burst if you look at it wrong. So I went through this whole process of finding different rims to get more universally used tires on this car. And I did that about 2 months ago. And have been
new rims?
Got new rims for the car. I got smaller rims for the car because those rims were like 21, 22-inch rims.
You got a rim job?
Yes. So my rim job brought me down to about 19, right?
Okay.
So I was able to get more universally used tires with thicker treads that could be all-season tires, all-weather tires. Did that about 2 months ago. Did the whole transfer of everything and been happy since. So the other day, I'm coming home from work, and they had something wrong on the screens at Penn Station, which tell you the trains, the tracks that they're on, and where their destinations are. So I go down, I see for this one train that it's going to take me to Secaucus Junction, which is a major hub in New Jersey, and that's where I was parked. So I get on there, a bunch of people go on there, you're waiting, the train takes off, and now we're in the tunnel under the Hudson River as we head to New Jersey. Conductor's coming by, you're hearing the clicking, so you have your train pass on your app on your phone, so you get that ready, so when he comes by, you just show it to him, and they go amongst their business. So he looks at it and then does a double take, and he goes, "We're not going to Secaucus." And I stopped up. I looked up, and I was like, "What?" I thought maybe he was joking. He goes, "Train doesn't go to Secaucus." I was like, "Where does it go?" He's Trenton. Trenton is on the other side of the state, south, almost across the river from Philadelphia, right? So the first stop it's going to is Newark, again, which isn't that far, but it's not where my car is. So I said, "Are you kidding me?" And then somebody else goes, "Wait, we're not going to Newark." And then a chain reaction in that car. A bunch of people thought, not going to Secaucus, thought we were going to Secaucus. So the conductor's now looking around, and he says, I don't know how you guys didn't know this. It's on the boards all the time. And I'm about to say something, and the lady said, it said on the board this track was going to Secaucus. It's like it's one thing if one or two people mistake the train, but when you got a whole car of these people going, what the hell?
Yeah.
So apparently there must have been a screw up on the board where they put the Secaucus train on the wrong track. Because the train that we were on was not going to Secaucus, so it was going to Newark. So I get off at Newark, and I don't really know how Newark Station runs because I've never used that train station. But it's Penn Station at Newark.
Yeah, so it's a big station.
It is. So it's the layout's different, so I don't know the easiest way to navigate around there. So I find the first train down off the platform, go right to a general ticket information thing. And there they have the screens, and I'm looking, and then finally something pops up. Train to Secaucus to Penn Station, New York. It's like 8 minutes. I was like, oh, perfect. So I go running, find the train, get on the train, get to Secaucus. Glad that's all done. So about half an hour or so out of time taken out of my commute home. But what can you do? So I go to the parking lot. I go to get my car, and I kind of look down, and I notice the back left tire is flat.
Uh-oh.
And I go, what the hell? Did someone shank my tire? It was perfectly fine. And it's a heavy-duty, all-purpose tire. So this isn't like the thin, sports tires that are delicate. This should have been perfectly fine. So I'm like, crap. It's not completely flat, but I can still squeeze the tire. There's some air in there. So I roll the car back to review the tire to see if I can see something that's punctured in there, right? Or if something broke the side. So the side of the tire, perfectly fine. I'm looking through the threads. I'm looking through everything. Nothing is in there. There's no nails. There's no glass. There's nothing. It's like, well, I have no choice but to try to ride on this to try to get to a gas station to see if I can get some air in the tire. So I drive for about 15 minutes down Route 3. I finally find a gas station that has the air pump. I pump the tire. I overfill it to like 40 just to, get me home, which will probably be another 10 minutes or so. So I finish the machine, and finish with the machine. I hang it up. I'm putting the cap on the tire. I'm throwing stuff out. I'm getting ready to get back in the car. The machine goes off, and I still hear a noise. I said, oh, I thought the machine was off. And the noise is the hiss from the tire. It's loud.
Yeah,
like, how is
you probably have a big hole in your tire, dude.
Right, but I've never heard it that loud. So I was like, what the hell? So now I said, all right, screw it. I'm going to try to get home. So I race home with a leaking tire. I get back home in my driveway, and I got the lights on and everything so I can see what's going on because it's kind of dark out now. And I'm looking, and I don't see what's going on with the tire. So a friend of mine who does all the mechanic stuff for my car, I call him. He comes over and takes a look. And he's looking too, and he's like, I don't see where this leak is coming from. And then we finally found it. So inside the tread, it just looks like the tire opened. Like there was no cut. There was no
split in the middle.
In the tread there, it just kind of opened up. Yeah. Like,
oof.
Yeah. And he's looking at this and he goes, this isn't good. This could be a manufacturing defect. I said, holy shit. So if it's a manufacturing defect, and those four,
they should give you a new one.
Well, if that's the case, then all four tires came from the same order, same company, same order, same everything. So now I don't want to drive the car because if that's a defect, what I have the spare on. What happens if the other three go while this one's being, I go to drop it off the next day to be examined, and those go. So I have a second car that I use. So I took that car, and he took the tire to his tire guy where we got the tires from. And they look at it, and the guy just goes, I don't know, and replaced all the tires. Didn't even bother to try to figure out why, which is kind of funny. Didn't even bother to figure out why the thing didn't open, but he replaced the tires, which is great. It's great for me. It's being taken care of. But I'm just kind of curious. I'm like, it looked like, when the earth has an earthquake and the crust just kind of opens? That's what it looked like.
Just like,
yeah, it just opened. There was no cut, no rig, nothing.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a manufacturer's.
It just opened up like it was going, and then just all the air came right out.
Just open up like the alien things that,
right,
and then the pods.
So, long story short, the tires were replaced. The car is working fine. I don't know if it was a manufacturer's defect or not, but just goes to show that I can't just have a simple issue. I got on the wrong train. I don't think of my own doing, because all these other people thought they were going to the same spot, and it turns out we were all on the wrong train.
Yeah.
And then the car has a flat, and I have to deal with that all night. So it was not the best of days, to say the least. And plus, it was a shitty day at work at the other place for some other stuff that was going on. But I was just like, oh, I can't deal with this. This was not a good day for me. Thus
Between
ending.
your car problems, Eric, you should have a show. It's like car problems with Erik Nagel.
That's what the guy said. He goes, between both your cars, it's so many tire problems. I said, I know. And he said, where are you? He said, I don't have to drive into the
house. Is there do you have like a driveway? Is it a bed of nails? Do you park on, Eric?
It's a bed of roses.
Ugh.
But tonight it's parked on a bed of nails.
Ugh. I mean, I don't know how you have so many car problems.
I don't know either. It just happened. Remember the time I told that story about going to the movie theater? I get around the corner and my car hit a pothole in the road and destroyed the tire. I was maybe, I would say maybe 100 yards from my house. And I missed that movie. I think, what was I going to see? Black Panther, I think, or some Marvel movie, or maybe Deadpool 2, something like that. And all I did was round the corner and boom, tire went right out. Ridiculous. Anyway.
It's fucked up, Eric.
This is why it's good that you don't have a car.
Yeah, this is exactly why I don't have a car. Because I'd be paying insurance, I'd be paying gas money, I'd be paying all this shit. It would explode. Fuck that.
Right. Oh, well. Moving on. Some things that we didn't get to touch on last week. Do you want to do Disney Plus, or do you want to talk about Woodstock 50 that's coming up?
I'm down for whichever you want to talk about.
All right, we'll start with Woodstock 50. So, if you're not aware, it's going to be the 50th anniversary of Woodstock from 1969, and they're going to be doing a huge concert at Woodstock, of all places, for Woodstock 50. So, it's in Watkins Glen, New York, which is within the vicinity of Woodstock.
Yep.
All those little towns up in New York just kind of blend together. Technically, they're all the same thing, but people want to feel some sense of identity. So that's why they have these little names for these smaller towns, which is just vast open land of farming or parks.
I mean, I like the town of Woodstock. It's nice. I go up there all the time. Always stop through on my way down from upstate because my friends all live around that area. And it's always a nice place to stop. There's a great guy there who sells cast iron frying pans. And
really?
Yeah, dude, there's this thrift store that's there every weekend, and there's a guy who has a whole collection of them from the 1800s, and he reconditions them and he sells them. They're really fucking nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, Woodstock's a really nice little town.
Well, there's going to be a 3-day affair, if you will, at the Woodstock Music and Arts Fair in 2019.
I mean, it sounds stupid.
August 16th through the 19th, like we said, Watkins Glen, New York.
This year?
This year, because it's the 50th anniversary this year.
Damn.
There's a lot of bands on here that you'd be amazed would be at a Woodstock event, because if you compared this lineup to the 1969 lineup, that was a rock concert. This is not a rock concert, apparently.
Well, no, because it's not rock concerts anymore. It's just these festival things. Yeah. It's just, that's what it is. It's about
it's a hodgepodge
experience and seeing everything. But it just feels like I feel like every other festival has been people trying to make their own Woodstock. You know what I mean? Coachella is no, we're going to be better than that. Because Woodstock at the time was popular because it was just a really big concert.
Well, it was the first of its kind,
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody did a big music festival like this. And to the extent of they did, and for 1969 too, the amount of people that came to that thing.
I mean, it was a pretty good lineup.
It was, but people didn't you didn't know the magnitude of this concert, because some promoter just said, they talked to a farmer and said, can we use your land for this concert? And they said, yeah, no big deal, because they didn't expect that many people.
Yeah.
And then it became the cultural phenomenon that we know today as Woodstock, where there was almost 1 million people on farmland without adequate food, toilets, lodging, any of that stuff. It was just
the original Fire Fest.
It's like having a huge tailgate party and never going inside to see the event. You're just living in the parking lot for 3 days.
Just living in filth. Yeah.
So that's what's going on here. So here's something that kind of cropped up, which was interesting. So we talked about the Fire Festival on the show, like everybody has. Those documentaries that came out that are very interesting, and if you haven't seen them, we highly recommend you do, on Netflix and on Hulu. So if you're not familiar with the Fire Festival, you can go there and look at it and see what it is. But for those of you who are, saves us the time because you know what happened with the Fire Festival. So Woodstock was promoting and teasing that you're going to be able to buy tickets very soon, and they had a date for this past Monday. People went to the website and they were seeing messages on the website that said tickets on sale soon, subscribe below for updates. So people were like, wait, I already put in my email to this database to alert me when the tickets were going to be on sale, and they all said it was supposed to be open today. Yeah. And the whole day is going through and it's not opening. So people are automatically starting to think that this is another Fire Festival, that they're doing all this, but they may not be able to handle this. So what happened was people went to the website. They were getting this message. They weren't getting any responses from emailing whatever their contact or customer service or whatever. No messages as to what the hell was going on. So according to this piece here, Woodstock 50 will go down and fans will get the chance to buy tickets soon, but event organizers insist that they just need a little bit more time to take care of some logistical issues. TMZ had heard that the event organizers are waiting to hear back from the New York State Department of Health after submitting a mass gathering permit application, which was submitted on April 15th. Cutting it a little close, by the way.
Yeah, and this all sounds very Fire Festival.
Right. So cutting a little close when you had the thing opening. What was Monday? Monday was the 22nd, right? And you submit it 7 days before? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no. And not only that, like, it just seems that this festival just popped up. You know, for something that was
I was
a
wondering
50th
that
anniversary,
too.
like, how was this not talked about last year? You know what I mean? Because I went and saw that fucking Juggalo movie, and people there were talking about fucking Gathering of the Juggalos the next year and the year after. Like, how did we not hear about Woodstock 50 for the 50th anniversary at least a year in advance?
That's a very good point. I was wondering that because it seemed like I thought it was just me, because sometimes certain things will not show up on my radar because I'm not a big music guy, so I'm not looking for this kind of thing. So when this showed up, I said, oh, I must have missed all of this going on, because I knew about Coachella, but I didn't know about this.
That's even like that's why I said I was like this year, because like I was shocked when you said August.
All right,
I was like completely blown away. I was like, not this year.
So I started digging around and I saw that the tickets were coming out I saw the stuff last week about tickets coming out Monday, and again didn't think anything about it until yesterday when I started to see stuff on social media and certain news hits where they're saying what's going on with Woodstock 50. Now, that's all you have to say in a headline or a tweet or something from a reputable organization for everyone to jump on it, because they want to now jump on this thing thinking, oh, this is a new Fire Festival. Everybody wants to be on the ground floor of this if this is going to be a complete disaster.
Yeah.
So, like we said, they submitted the mass gathering permit to the New York State Department of Health to get the approval. So the Department of Health confirmed that they did indeed receive the application, and it's going through the process of completing its review. Now, New York State, one of the biggest states in the country for bureaucracy, and is notorious for being so slow at getting anything done. Stuff takes years in this state, depending on the project.
Well, it did, because we had a split house for the last 35 years. Now we have like the government's all run by one party, so maybe it'll run a little smoother.
Who knows? But even
I know it's just one of those things when people talk about New York not running smoothly. I'm like, dude, it's been a divided house for the last 35 years, and everyone was at each other's throats. Like, that's why nothing got done.
But that's what we grew up in. You know, growing up in New York. Yeah, that's all we knew.
So maybe it'll be better now.
Who knows? Who knows? Hopefully so, but who knows? So it's in the process of reviewing, and I'll take it away from New York. Any state that you're in, if you submit anything to the state, they take forever. It's not a quick time turnaround for any kind of application. If you're looking for a permit to maybe repair your driveway or build an extension for your house or get new electrical wiring in there, it always takes forever. And then there's a financial shakedown of sorts. I won't say shakedown, but there's always a financial situation that causes headaches and delays and what have you. That's what's happening here. This thing, they're like, well, we're going to have the Department of Health is reviewing it and we'll let them know as soon as we're done. But we promised that tickets were going to be sale Monday. So right now, it's not even the state's fault. It's the promoter's fault for all of this, right? So now they're saying that tickets will be available as soon as possible, as soon as they get the okay from the Department of Health. But what if it's not? It's revealed that it's not just the Department of Health. What if all of a sudden there's other departments that they had to go through, because you have the Department of Health is going to be handling and overseeing food, sanitation, and also medical. They got to see, because also up in that area is one of the huge outbreaks of measles that's going on in the country. So they got to.
I don't think it's that far up. It's only in like Westchester.
No, but also it's in Rochester down through New York State down to Pennsylvania.
Like way far away from like Woodstock.
You're not listening to me though. Rochester down through New York to the beginning of Pennsylvania, which is where Woodstock falls in. It's in that territory. So they got to go through all this stuff and make sure everything's on the up and up, and that they have enough. They have a contract for catering. They have a contract for lavatories. They have a contract for medical assistance, EMT stuff. All of that stuff has to be approved under the Department of Health. They got to display all that. So who knows how long this is going to take?
And I'll tell you this festival will be a failure. You know why? Because there's no fucking cell phone reception anywhere in the mountains up there. So no one will be able to post any selfies. They won't be able to post any Instagram stories. They won't be able to post any of the fucking social media tags that they need to make their fucking show a success.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Dude, there's like no cell phone reception upstate. It's terrible. Every time I go up to my friend's house, it's like, 3 days without a phone. Might as well just live like it's 1998. So like, I don't know what they're going to do for cell phone reception for people and shit like that. It's really bad up there.
I don't know. I didn't even think about that. And it's not like they can set up, portable towers.
Oh, portable satellite, I don't know. I mean,
the people that walk around sometimes with their phone and they have like the little cube that's a Verizon hotspot.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this way I can stream stuff while I'm doing this and whatever. And then I can stream it to my kid's phone so we both can use the data plan. That's not going to work up there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't even think of that.
Sounds like
wow.
A mess.
That is going to be a mess. Well, here's something else. So now I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, all right, it's going to take a while for the tickets. Well, how much are the tickets, right? So I go looking through some websites and I find the actual ticket price information. And one of the things I came across says this: there's a big change from the original Woodstock Music and Arts Fair, where single-day tickets back in 1969 cost as low as $6.50, and 3-day passes were $18. But then, after the first day, admission ended up being free for a majority of the crowd in 1969, when organizers were overwhelmed by over 500,000 people showing up. So they just got rid of the ticket booths and the admission and just pulled down a fence and let everybody in.
Yeah.
Right? They will not be doing that at this time. Police and promoters be damned, because there's no way they're going to let anybody in without making a dime off of everything there. So you have people going there. There's not a lot of hotels in that area for lodging.
No, there's not hotels at all.
So unless you're going to camp on those grounds, if they're even still existing I don't think they exist in the way they did back in 1969, open farmland and just open undeveloped land. I'm sure there's stuff that's developed there, but somebody owns it. Some contractor or business owns that thing.
Yeah.
They're going to be charging for parking. They're going to be charging for you to stay, if they don't have parking, staying in any of those empty fields. This is going to cost you an arm and a leg just outside of the ticket price. But the ticket price itself, I found out, is $450 for the 3-day pass.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's the low end of it. I'm sure there'll be other things where maybe they have VIP packages or maybe meet and greet things for certain artists or what have you. But starting low end, $450 for a 3-day music festival in a rural part of the United States?
I don't know, man. I think these festivals are a big like money grab right now. We learned, from everything we learned from Firefest, and this just seems like a quick cash grab here to try and, throw the Woodstock name on it and try and get this together. Like, I don't see how they're going to get all this to work in time if they're, still applying for permits and stuff. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. We'll see. I mean, upstate New York's a different place. I don't know if they're going to want all these young kids running around.
Well, looking at the lineup here, there's going to be a lot of young. Well, you know what? Maybe not. Yeah, no, there'll be some young people. Because at first I was seeing Robert Plant, I was seeing John Fogerty, I'm seeing Santana, and the Raconteurs, which I know is Jack White's other band, but they're not, as big as his White Stripes or his solo stuff. But then I'm seeing Miley Cyrus is on there. Run the Jewels is going to be performing there. Let's see who else on this list. John Sebastian, another old one. Chance the Rapper will be there. Sturgill Simpson, who's getting a lot of attention. Do you know who they are?
I have no idea who that is.
They're like I don't want to get it wrong. I don't know if they're really like a bluegrass band, but they're like they have a definite old school feeling country and rock kind of band. Like they're definitely like a 70s feel. They're pretty good. Okay. And then you have Greta Van Fleet, which is just, young Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I don't like those guys.
No, a lot of people don't like them. And they're pretty much assholes. Every time I see an interview when people say, "Oh, you sound like Led Zeppelin," that one lead singer gets really pissed off. It's like, your whole band sounds like Led Zeppelin. What do you expect?
Yeah, dude, like you sound like them. Like that's just what people do. They compare you to things that are similar. Like there's lots of bands out there where people say, "Oh, you have such a unique sound," and then there's bands out there like, "Dude, you're the fucking Led Zeppelin." You know what I mean? That's who you are. Like, own it. It's like that band. What was it, Wolf Mother, a couple of years back, and everyone was like, "These guys sound like Led Zeppelin." Also,
yeah, it happened.
But I mean, that's just classic rock. I mean, that's what Led Zeppelin did.
Some older acts. David Crosby's going to be there. Country Joe McDonald, which has that famous video clip, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we were gonna die song, Country Joe and the Fish.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's going to be there. Ugh, Imagine Dragons. Imagine Dragons is becoming the Nickelback of the United States.
I imagine every time someone says Imagine Dragons, I imagine dragons burning them to death, like from Game of Thrones. Just picture.
Yeah, so the name should just be Imagine Dragons, ... and then you fill in the way that they die.
Yeah, burning us to death. Burninating the countryside.
That's pretty funny. I'm gonna write
that's
that
what
down.
I did every time. That's all I do. I'm like, oh yes, these fucking dragons. They're gonna come one day and they're just gonna burn them.
Halsey, who I actually enjoy, she's from New Jersey. She's a pop / kind of rock act. She's actually really good. Cage the Elephant. I'm trying to see what else is here. The Zombies. Wow. Pussy Riot is on this.
Oh yeah,
remember Pussy Riot? Aren't they the ones that got arrested in Russia for protesting in the church?
Yep,
that'll be pretty interesting. And then a lot of names on here that I don't recognize. Oh well, but I mean it's 3 days. I don't know if this is worth $450 because how long can their sets be? 15, 20 minutes between all of them. It's got to be at least 3 stages, right?
Yeah, but the $450, you're paying for all that stuff. You know what I mean? You're paying for all the bathrooms. You're paying for like all that, the bands and all, like everything else that's going to happen.
No, I get that. I guess I'm saying it more as I don't think it's worth my time.
Oh no, it's not worth it. $450 is a lot of money. Like there's so many things I could do with that. Like that I would much rather do than go see a concert. Like just sorry, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't get it. But all right.
Who are these people with this disposable income?
I know. The people at Coachella.
Ugh.
Like it started off a couple of years ago where people were just blogging or doing a little video saying, "Oh, only rich kids go to Coachella." Because only a lot of rich people go to these music festivals because they are expensive, $450.
Yeah,
Coachella's probably even more for the amount of stuff that they offer there, and it's run, pretty well as far as I know. It's a perfectly functioning event for 2 weeks that does very well, so it might be worth the money that it costs to go there, because it seems everything's orderly and people are taken care of. You never hear of any, dysentery complaints or lost children or although, hang on, I did see a story that there was a big herpes outbreak at Coachella after the first weekend.
I mean, that makes sense.
So that after that first weekend, this was on NBC News. So if you need to fact check this, look at NBC Nightly News. Had this piece about Coachella, where after the first weekend they had about two.
I was typing in Coachella, and the first auto search thing was Coachella herpes.
So after the first weekend, they had over 200 cases, right? By the end of the second weekend, they were in the thousands, and not just Coachella, but the neighboring neighborhoods also had experienced a huge uptick in herpes contamination because people were fucking like crazy and not taking care of it, and it spread pretty. I mean,
here's the thing. I'm reading an article now where it says that that's not true, and it was something else that happened.
How? So NBC reported it, and then that it wasn't true.
Well, because everyone jumps on stories now before anyone can, get things, tested.
I don't know. I mean, look, say what you want about whatever political side you're on or liberal media or any of that shit like that, but I'm more inclined to believe a credible network news program than most blogs.
Yeah, but they reported based on a report that TMZ reported. So that's where they got their information from.
Oh, so it wasn't their
no,
okay.
It was a TMZ alert that went out, and then NBC picked that up.
Oh, I thought this was coming from their own. So okay,
no, it came from a source called Herp Alerts, which is some I'm not even joking. It's a website called Herp Alert. Herp Alert. But yeah, it's a website for like testing to see if you have like herpes or some shit.
Wow. All right. Well, it's still fun to think of all those rich kids out there who are dressing.
Yeah, here's the actual article where it comes from, and it says, according to honchos at Herp Alert, an online diagnosis, there's been a lot of searches for it since Coachella started. So that's where they got this story from.
Huh.
There's literally no truth behind anything anymore, Eric. So people just see something and they're like, oh, this must be it. And then everyone runs with it.
I will say that's a bit disheartening because I thought, at least the network news has a foundation of their own news reports. They're getting their own information. They're not relying on headlines and blogs as their credible news sources. But apparently they pulled it off of TMZ, who pulled it off a blog called Herp Alert. Yeah. And I find that a bit disheartening. It's ruined network news for me now.
It's where we are.
Oh, well, but it's still fun to think that all these rich kids that were, dressing as a cross between Mad Max and Fortnite out in the desert, just having a good time and posting selfies in front of a Ferris wheel and looking ridiculous, could have had a massive herpes outbreak. Imagine all these kids coming home. What did you do in Coachella? Mom, I need to go to the doctor.
Turns out it was all measles because they were all unvaccinated by their hipster parents.
Oh, my God. All right, quick with that, and then we got to take a break. But the measles outbreak.
But those aren't hipsters.
No, I know, but it's infuriating.
It's so stupid.
Because you're seeing the maps now of how it's spreading. And this was, and one of the news pieces I was watching, they said, and what's mind-boggling is that 20 years ago, this disease was done, at least in the United States. Full vaccinations, the disease was gone. And because of a combination, I know now that one of the recent clusters of outbreaks were some of these Orthodox Jewish people who were traveling from Israel and in the Middle East back home had the virus or whatever, and it was spreading within the Orthodox Jewish communities of certain areas. But also the non-vaccinator people, these dumb parents that believed this bullshit and put their kids in general to the point where in our area, right, they were saying the big pocket for the measles was starting in Rochester, which is up in the northern part of the state, north central area of the state. And it was growing and growing and growing to the point that they had to issue a public health emergency that for a couple of days, if your children did not get vaccinated for this disease, they weren't allowed in public parks, public libraries, public schools, any of that stuff until they met the mandate of vaccinating your kids. And then some people were fighting it, saying it was unconstitutional to have them do that.
And the judge was like, yeah, no. Sorry, dude. Judge threw that shit out. I was like, good for you, Judge. Judge was like, no, get the fuck out of here.
But I was expecting people, when I saw the unconstitutional thing being charged, I'm like, you know what? I get it. But when it's a public health scare, and then it's a public health emergency, and now it's spreading in plague-like proportions, eventually somebody has to be the adult here and put their foot down saying, look, I know you think this is infringing on your rights, but you got to fucking knock it off and be an adult here and take care of your kids. Because this is
just stupid.
It is. It is. I know more about the measles now than I should have. Because I was seeing,
because there's like kids who can't get vaccinated because they have like terminal illnesses, they have like weak immune systems, so they like literally can't get vaccinated, so they have to rely on the fact that everyone else is, so that keeps the thing at bay, you know, and then they don't, and then it's just so stupid that there is a completely preventable disease that people will not, like, you know, protect their children against. Like, what is the point of that? Why are you having kids if you're not even gonna like protect them with the most basic of protection?
Yeah,
like it's like kid insurance. Get them fucking vaccinated so they don't die of something that was eradicated.
Right.
Like,
Look,
it's just dumb.
If my kid's not allowed to bring a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to school because somebody may have an allergy, my kid doesn't have to go to school. Your kid's not allowed to go to school if they've not been vaccinated for the most basic of diseases that are easily curable. And you can't say, well, it's my right that the kid doesn't have the vaccinations because you believe whatever about vaccinations. Well, it's my right that my kid loves fucking Jif. And he's
it's my right that my kid lives.
Yeah, and my kid's going to bring a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to school because he likes peanut butter and jelly. Mm-hmm. So somewhere we're going to have to meet. I won't make peanut butter and jelly. You get your kid vaccinated and we'll both be happy. Idiot.
It's just so stupid.
And then it's spreading all across the country now. So it's not just in these little pockets that I've seen, you know, over the last several months. It's growing and growing. And people are now like the American Medical Association is starting to realize more people were not vaccinating than they thought weren't vaccinating. Like, this was a huge ordeal.
Well, now they're saying some people who were vaccinated before certain times have to go back in and get like re-ups because when they thought they were in the clear, like people born in the 50s and 60s, they're like, oh yeah, I'm in the clear. It's like, no, your shit wore off. And we were just hoping that by this point that we would have no fucking disease.
Well, all right. So I'm glad you brought this up because I did some more research on this stuff and I was wondering.
Because I was wondering if I needed to get one.
I didn't know. I assumed I did, but I wasn't sure. So I had to check with my parents stuff about my vaccination stuff. And my mom had this old book that had our vaccinations. So yeah, I did have it. Okay, cool. Then I see on the news, they said recently, now some other points of concern. They were saying if you had your vaccinations done in a certain time period, that it may not be, not that it wore off, but it may not be strong enough for this current outbreak, that kids after, I think the late 80s or something like that, were getting 2-part vaccinations for the measles. So they're fine. If they had it, they're fine. When I was a kid, maybe when you were a kid too, since we're not that far in age, we might have been in that time period where you only got one. And that's according to that book that she had. I only had one vaccination for the measles. Yeah. And I looked up online. I even talked to my pal, Dr. Steve, and it was even recommended. So I may go in just to my general practitioner and express my concern on this about getting another vaccination. Now that it's a health emergency, for those of you wondering about the cost and whatever, at some places your health insurance is not going to charge you anything for getting the vaccination. And I think even a lot of clinics now are opening it up. You look online, look in your area and find what's available, but they may not even be charging for the boosters now. Or if you never were vaccinated, because it's such a big deal now, they may even be doing it for free. So if you don't have health insurance or if you got really shitty coverage, you can still go out and find out and maybe get the additional booster or the full vaccination if you've never had it, and probably at no cost to you now.
Yeah.
Which is great that it's available, but it sucks that we're at this point over something so stupid. And I just was thinking, like, if I had a kid, I would have been strangling other parents had I known that, oh yeah, we don't believe in vaccinations. Get away from my family.
Yes, stay away.
Get away. It's bad enough your kid has a cold and I got to Purell everything. Now your kid has, the plague, the Black Plague. We don't believe in vaccinations. We're from Eastern Europe and we travel with rats on steamships. Well, you're not hanging at my house.
Yes. But the thing is, like, the saddest thing about all of it is that, like, a lot of the people who don't get vaccinated are not doing it because they have this fear of autism. And it's like this death sentence that if your kid has autism, that it's the end of the world, and that they're willing to subject their kids to preventable diseases that could kill them because they're far more worried that their kid might have autism is like really fucked up.
And the leaps and bounds. This isn't like the 70s and the 80s when they didn't really fully know or aware of all the different characteristics of autism. They're still learning, by leaps and bounds today, but they know a lot more than they did back then.
Yeah.
And having a kid that's autistic, look, is not something a parent normally wants. It's very difficult for the family, but it's a lot easier and manageable to do now. They, with a better understanding of it, better funding for helping, with programs and techniques to handle autistic children and handle autistic people.
Yeah.
And therapy and everything that they need to do to function, as normal as they can, and to live their best life, if you will, with this situation. I don't want to say it's a disease, but the situation that they've incurred. It's not a death. Exactly. Like even getting HIV now, right? You don't want it. Believe me, you don't want it. But if you did, it's not an instant death sentence anymore.
Yeah, it's not like it was in like the late 80s and 90s where it's just they had no idea what it was. They had no idea how to stop it. You just died. You had it. You were going to die. If you
now you have
it's like completely manageable.
Yeah, I mean, in HIV, we got to clarify that HIV is not AIDS. AIDS is like the final chapter for HIV. But if you have HIV, there's degrees of that. They have medicines that treat. They have processes that you can go through. You see advertisements. If you watch any of the cable network, it doesn't matter which political affiliation. But if you watch any of the cable news channels, right, most of their commercials are for medicines and procedures and things like that. And they have this one, what is it called? Truvada for PrEP, which the people on there are annoying just because of their acting skills, not because of the disease. But you're watching the commercial for Truvada for PrEP, and they're explaining about what it is. Now, it is leaning more towards gay people and transgender people because it's more likely that they would contract it than a straight person. But they're saying, look, if you're concerned, if you think that you may have it, or you may be with somebody that does have it, and how to get around, how to handle all this, there's treatment, there's courses available, there's all this stuff here for you. So it's not an instant death sentence. Autism is not as bad. You don't want it for your child because it's just a difficult life, but it doesn't mean their life is fucked. And it doesn't mean people's life are fucked because you have autism. And you, like what you said, if you won't get vaccinations because you're afraid your child will become
then don't
autistic,
have a kid.
Exactly.
That's the answer. Don't have a child.
My kid's going to have the flu. My kid is going to scrape its knees. My kid's going to fall off something, maybe break a bone. Everybody has this shit.
The thing is, it's like these same people who share like these memes. It's like, I'm a mama bear, I'm gonna protect my kid. It's like, but I'm not gonna vaccinate him. Like, fuck that. Like,
no, you know what my brother did? He took his kids, he threw them out in the dirt.
I was just saying, he just took them out back at Old Yeller.
Well, that's horrible. It's funny, but it's horrible. No, you took him.
Getting sick that way.
Take in the park, jump in the puddles, go roll around on the lawn, go get all messed up, and then what do? You take them home, you take them out of their clothes, you give them a bath. You put them in their PJs for the rest of the night, and you keep doing this over and over because it builds up their immunity.
It's active immunization.
Yeah.
You expose yourself to shit and your body builds it up.
Yeah. This is what happened before modern medical science was available. People were just out in the woods. There were no houses. The wilderness was your house.
Yeah, this was like a week ago, Eric. I was living in the woods under the bridge.
I know. You returned to your roots. Oh, it's just people are so dumb. Just so dumb.
Get out of here with your measles. I don't want you. You deserve to be shunned if you don't vaccinate your kids. Sorry.
Well,
if anyone's offended listening, sorry. Fuck you.
I posted something. I said, well, there is there is an injection I can recommend for parents that don't vaccinate their kids.
That's not an injection, Eric.
It is of the lethal dosage.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to speed through movies and television stuff because there's a few things we want to head out. And then it's, like we said, it's Endgame weekend. That's where we're going to head out, except for Giddles. I think Giddles is the only person in North America not going to see this movie on opening weekend.
I mean, that's how you know it's going to break $2 billion. I'm the only one not seeing it. They're just calculating how many people are in the United States. They're like, all right, all that minus $13 for Giddles, and here's our round total.
So you're going to see the national news presentation, and you know how when they talk about a local area, it's like tornadoes touched down in Texas today, and you see a satellite photo of the earth and it zooms into the state, then it zooms in like Google Maps to the street address. And they're going to just be doing the box office tallies and then go, except for one person, and it zooms in to right to your apartment, and you're looking out the window like, what? You're seeing yourself on
satellite's
TV,
on me. I'm
closing
on my phone.
It's like this dude.
Anyone else seeing this?
This gentleman's name, Brian Gittleman, did not go see. He lives at what?
What?
Go see him. Pitchforks.
And they just snap. I just disappear.
Pitchforks, fires, cars flipping over, mass hysteria.
Yeah, just like every other day.
All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, I told you what we're going to do. We'll be right back.
It's Eric Nagel with Erik and Giddles. More next. It's Eric Nagel. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and Facebook at It's Eric Nagel.
This is the Penguin, Robin Lord Taylor. You are listening to It's Eric Nagel.
Welcome back to It's Eric Nagel. That is myself. There's Giddles over there in the Upside Down.
Where am I? I'm in the Upside Down.
We're back here for segment 2.
Oh, fuck.
Got to do that together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, 2!
3.
2.
Oh, what?
Exactly.
Tomorrow.
Looking at last week's box office, coming in at number 1, and it'll be quickly dropped to 11. The Curse of La Llorona. La Llorona?
Oh, wait, what? I haven't even heard of this movie.
The 2 L's is El Ye in Spanish. So The Curse of La...
The llama?
La Llorona? La Llorona?
What movie is this?
Llorona. La Llorona. It looks like what the fuck is that movie?
La Llorona.
No, well, that's probably how you say it.
Yeah.
It looks like The Conjuring. It's like one of those kind of movies.
Yeah, it looks like Nun 2.
Something like that, but the Spanish version, you know? This happens in Mexico. I mean, that's really horrible for me to jump to that conclusion, but that's probably what it is.
I mean, it is like a Spanish
Imagine that translates to The Nun. It's like, wow, Giddles was right.
I mean, it looks like The Nun.
Right. So anyway, that came in at number 1 for its first week. Number 2 was Shazam. Number 3 is Breakthrough, which I don't really know that movie. Number 4, Captain Marvel, which will probably get another bump for people who couldn't get into Endgame this weekend. They'll probably hop over to Captain Marvel if they haven't seen it, or just something to do until they can get into Endgame, so that might jump back up. I mean, but look, it's 6 weeks in the box office and it's still in the top 5. That's pretty impressive.
That's pretty good.
And then number 5 is this movie called Little. Oh, number 6, Dumbo. Look at that.
Oh, the big elephant that couldn't.
Yeah, people said it was very dark.
It looked that's the live action one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, stop doing live action versions of cartoons. Like, and it won't be dark. That's the answer.
I got to tell you about what Disney just announced with Disney Plus about Dumbo in just a second here. But opening this weekend, obviously Endgame. There's one other movie that's opening in 5 theaters, and they was just like, we have a contractual obligation. We just got to put it somewhere.
I'll go see it. I'll be the guy. It'll make $13 this week. Yeah. I want to be on the news.
Okay, you're gonna go see it's called The White Crow.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, directed and actor. It's not
directed
Ralph.
And actor.
It says director and actor. It's not Ralph, but it's Ray Fiennes or Fine.
Oh yeah,
the guy from Schindler's List.
Yeah. He was in what was it?
Movies.
I don't know.
What opens next week?
He's been in a lot of shit. I'm just terrible with like names. I can picture him in my head. He was in that. Was it the Hannibal movie?
He might have been. Even next week, I'm looking at the May 3rd weekend here. There's nothing really.
Yeah. He was in Hannibal.
opening next weekend. There's a Dennis Quaid movie called The Intruder next weekend. But that's,
don't know about that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter because it's only going to be Endgame until people forgot all these other movies came.
Right. And then May 10th is Detective Pikachu starring Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. I want to see that.
I kind of actually do, too. I don't know much about Pokemon at all, but I do enjoy Ryan.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be a good start, seeing him live action. It'll be nice and dark. It'll be great.
Let's see what else we got here. April 26th, that's Avengers, stupid me. May 16th, John Wick 3 comes out. May 22nd, Disney's live action Aladdin. And May 31st, because the new trailer just came out, the final edition trailer for Godzilla King of Monsters.
Roar.
I watched the trailer. I loved it. Giddles just watched the trailer. What did you think?
I mean, it looks like a big monster smash 'em up movie. I think we saw a lot of the movie in the trailer. It was a 2-minute trailer. Somewhere Over the Rainbow as a creepy cover right away kind of turned me off to the movie, even though you liked it.
I'll say this,
because at this point it's just not. It's not. Unexpected.
That was a trend in the late 2000s. Into the early,
we talk about it all the time. They do it like every movie now.
No, I know it was a trend starting in the late 2000s. So maybe not even 2009. Let's just say the early 2010s. Then is when this trend started, where a lot of TV shows and a lot of movies were doing creepy minor key versions of popular songs to make it have more emphasis and spooky and creepy, whatever, for the product that they were putting out. Like you would see stuff for Gotham, and you'd hear a really downtrodden, sick version of Duran Duran's Hungry Like the Wolf,
Yeah.
And this is, it's in that fashion, but I don't think people are doing that anymore. I don't hear those kind of songs in commercials for TV and products and movies anymore. I think they're just taking something that has already passed and like, you know what, this kind of works with what we're doing.
I don't know. I feel like we talked about it a lot on the show. They're still doing creepy covers.
Well, we did early on in the show back on the satellite days.
It wasn't that long ago, Eric.
We're going into our 5th anniversary in June.
I know, but it still wasn't that long ago.
Time moves pretty fast, my friend. If you don't pay attention, you might miss it.
Ugh.
Well, I liked the Godzilla trailer. I thought it was awesome.
I mean, it looks okay. Like, I want to know how they captured Godzilla. They're like, oh, we're gonna.
Yeah, I don't get that
he's
either.
A prisoner. Like,
it's like he's locked in a volcano somewhere.
Every monster was locked in a volcano. They're like, we have 17 of these. Like, and every single one of them's like, hey, I'm in a volcano. It's like, what is this, Scientology? The movie? They're all
we
just
have
like, hey,
that many volcanoes on Earth that we can trap all these monsters?
Yeah, we only have so many volcanoes.
One of them looked like it was that spiky turtle one that I forget the name of the creature, but it just kind of woke up and is like, well, there go the Rocky Mountains.
Gamera?
Could be.
I think it is.
You look that up. I know Godzilla. I know Mothra, and King.
Yeah, Gamera.
Ghidorah.
No, Gamera.
Yes, that's for the turtle thing. But I'm talking about Ghidorah, the 3-headed dragon.
Oh, yeah. He's like the main boss.
He's the big baddie, if you will.
He's the big baddie, and they showed in the trailer, and they show Godzilla fighting him. So,
yeah.
That's the whole movie.
He's no pushover. You look at it, it's like 3 heads. He's going to be off balance at some point, but no. He was tearing shit up.
I'm looking this up, but it turns out Gamera was a rival to Godzilla. It was not made by the same company. So
so it's not
a different guy then.
It's not in the same universe as Godzilla. Okay, that's interesting.
No, it says that Gamera first appeared in the 1965 film Gamera the Giant Monster, which was initially produced to rival the success of Godzilla. So he was like the Pepsi to Coke. Interesting.
Now I'm trying to think. Is the kaiju? You know how because I love Pacific Rim. I don't know if you're a big fan.
I love
of it.
Pacific Rim. Yeah.
So the kaiju, right? Is that just the name for monsters in Japan, or is kaiju part of the Godzilla universe?
No, I think kaiju is just like a big monster.
Okay.
Anguirus is the name of the turtle with all the spikes.
Yeah, I would never remember that.
Anguirus.
Uranus the turtle.
Heyo.
So anyway, the trailer looks great.
Heyo.
The thing that's kind of interesting is Millie Bobby Brown. She is 11 from Stranger Things. She happens to be in this trailer a lot, and it's either her just looking at a creature and trying to make some kind of human connection with it, Or it's her looking lovingly as Godzilla is destroying something, or her turning softly the other way and watching missiles being shot at Ghidorah. Like, she's just right there as stealth bombers are zooming in, swiping down at the monster, shooting everything it's got right above her, and she's just looking like she's like 6 blocks away on top of an apartment building watching all this happen.
Well, maybe she time travels from Stranger Things into this universe. And she's like, oh shit, I'm in the wrong place.
So she's got to stop these monsters, and then she does, but her head explodes. It's too much. It's not just the nose drip anymore. Her head just goes. Her head blows open like scanners.
Yeah, she became Doctor Strange. She's going through all the different timelines to figure out how to fix it.
Right. Well, if you haven't seen the trailer, it's up on It's Erik Nagel on Facebook if you want to check it out. It's really good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the better film trailers that I've seen in a long time. I don't know how much is actually being spoiled because you got to look at movie trailers nowadays that they're ruining something in there for you. But I don't know what it is yet because I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, same here.
What else also came out? Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Did you see that trailer?
I did see that trailer. The trailer looks great.
What are your thoughts? Well, you just said it. It looks great. I was asking Matt. I don't know what Rise of Skywalker means because in the last movie or two, they were alluding that Rey, was not part of the Skywalker family. So I'm wondering, is Skywalker going to be like the Jedis relabeled, or the new religion is going to be called Skywalker? Because Mark Hamill said in the 8th movie that the Jedi can't exist. So is the new religion just going to be called like they're going to be the Church of Skywalker or whatever?
I don't know. Well, what about the big reveal in the trailer
with Palpatine?
Yeah, what if he's a Skywalker? What if he's the last Skywalker? He's still alive.
Well,
he was he was in the other movies.
He wasn't a Skywalker, but he did.
No, he wasn't. But
he controlled Anakin, though. By the 3rd movie, he was, he lured Anakin over to the dark side to become Darth Vader. I'm curious, though.
I don't know. The trailer looks great because,
I don't know a whole hell of a lot about the Star Wars universe, but there was a scene where you see the Death Star laying on a planet,
like broken, on the planet.
Right. So that's obviously the second Death Star, because the first one blew up, and then they had the second one being built. So when they destroyed the second one in Return of the Jedi, that landed on Endor, where all the Ewoks were. So by showing it in the planet, so that's Endor, right? It's got to be Endor.
I'm assuming.
So does that mean Ewoks are coming back?
Oh, I fucking hope so. I want porgs.
I think you're
Ewoks.
the only person who ever says I want the Ewoks.
God,
back.
yes. Ewoks made those movies. They should have been in every movie. There should have been a fucking Ewok laughing in a corner every time something happened.
I think most Star Wars fans would disagree with you.
Oh, of course they would, because they're idiots. They don't understand the power of the Ewok.
Huh. Well, I'm curious to see how this all plays out.
I think it looks great. I love the opening shot of the trailer of Rey doing the full Brock Sampson from Venture Brothers. She jumps onto the thing. Because I was watching that trailer with a friend and I was like, yo, if she Brock Sampson's this ship right now, this is going to be awesome. And then she did. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Thank you so much. I was wondering where I've seen something like that before, where she turns in a running stance, but then looks over her shoulder and then runs away from the ship screaming at her. And then she jumps and flips over the damn thing. I was like, I know I've seen that before. It must have been from some other movie. It's a Brock Sampson move.
And then the car comes and he just crushes her.
Oh, that is so good. Good for you. Thank you. That was driving me nuts. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is going to be great. It was such a good opening shot. And that trailer was really good that I feel that even people who hated, the last one, what was it? Rise of the Jedi or whatever. I can't remember the name of the last
Jedi.
one. What's up?
The Last Jedi.
The one right before this.
Solo? You're talking about in the episode numbered movies or in the side movies?
Because this is what? This
is episode
Awakens.
9.
Yeah, it was Force Awakens.
Episode 8 was The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, okay, yeah.
Was there another point to it, or were you just trying to remember the title?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think that the trailer was good enough that even people who were upset at the Last Jedi will come around and be like, well, I'm probably still gonna have to see this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like all the butthurt people who didn't like it.
Interesting for this time though, Star Wars doesn't usually come out as a Christmas movie, and it's doing that this year. It in theaters December 20th.
It always comes out in December.
No, it's usually before Thanksgiving. It's usually in November.
I'm fairly certain they were always like December.
No.
Because I always went in December with my.
Well, that's when you went. Doesn't mean that's when it was released.
No, I went opening day each time. Let's see, Force Awakens.
Oh, you're right. Episode 7 was December 18th.
Yeah, they were all in December because I remember I was off from work. There was nothing going on.
And episode 8 was December 15th. Jesus Christ! I thought.
Yeah, no,
all right, I didn't
the
realize
other ones
it.
come out like earlier in the year. Like Solo and those mid movies come out like the middle of the year, but these always come out in December.
Wow, I was way off on that. This shows you how big a Star Wars fan I am. All right. Because when they said this Christmas, I was like, oh, wow, it's going to be a Christmas movie release. I didn't expect that, but apparently the last 3 were, so what do I know?
Well, yeah, I mean, because Santa's in every one of them.
Santa's in them?
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie.
Is he a Sith? Or is he a Jedi?
Instead of a leg lamp, it's a Han arm lamp.
Darth Claus.
Or a Luke arm lamp. Actually, I kind of want that now. A Luke hand lamp.
A Luke hand lamp? Oh, it must be from Italy. It says Fragile.
It says Wookiee on it.
Turn on the lamp. That's pretty cool. Christmas story Star Wars lamp. Darth Claus. I like that.
See? Now we got it. Everyone's got to decorate the lightsaber.
There you go. I also caught up on some movies that I have not seen that everybody else has seen. I'm trying to see on part of my list here if we talked about this last week. Did we talk about Gran Torino?
I don't remember.
Yes, we did. We did. We talked about Clint Eastwood because you said he's like that in every movie, and I wasn't aware of that. Okay, so we did that. I watched Tombstone for the first time.
Oh yeah, the pizza one.
Yes, exactly. It's all about the pizza that you can bring home, put in the freezer, and make yourself, and still tastes like delivery.
It's all about the toppings. I
Right.
mean, that's the whole plot, is what is going to be the topping on the tombstone, and then they just hang everyone.
Really tragic ending for a pizza commercial, but everybody loves it. No, so I watched the movie, and this has been a beloved movie by a lot of people. And when I started my list at the beginning of last summer of movies that I have not seen that everybody else has seen, and that was on there, people always said, "You never saw Tombstone?" No, I didn't. And I'm not being anti or different, difficult or different or anything, saying like, oh, everybody else sees it, so I can't see it. I just never saw it. It just didn't fall into my radar to watch that movie ever. But now I'm making a concerted effort to watch movies that everybody else has watched and enjoy and make my own opinions on it so I know what's going on. So I watched Tombstone. And it's a very enjoyable movie. Great characters, a lot of action, a lot of quotable dialogue from that movie that I wasn't aware of completely. I knew of a few things, but there were some other ones I was like, oh, this is the movie that it comes from. Val Kilmer is really great as Doc Holliday, which is no surprise to anybody who's seen the movie. But I did notice that there were a lot of similarities to another Western movie. And I see that Tombstone came out in 1993, and this other movie came out in 1990. So I drew the conclusion that Tombstone ripped off this stuff from this other Western movie.
Yep.
And that Western movie is Back to the Future 3.
Oh, one of the best Westerns ever made.
Ever made. If you want to go to IHeartRadio on Instagram, you can see I put up my review there and a shot-by-shot dissection of Tombstone versus Back to the Future 3. And I think you'll be surprised at how many scenes are almost exactly the same between the two movies.
Yeah, the time-traveling train especially.
Exactly. And somehow it became the Eastwood Ravine.
Mm-hmm.
So weird. But do you have it up on your computer there? Can you see it?
What? No, I'm pulling up on my phone right now.
Okay, so take a look at it. So there's shot by shot of Ike Clayton. I forgot his name. Everyone's gonna yell at me now because I didn't remember the damn cowboy's name. I'll just do it now so that people don't get all mad. Clanton, sorry. Ike Clanton was played by Stephen Lang, who we've had on this show. Ike looks and acts a lot like Buford Mad Dog Tannen from Back to the Future 3. So I put some shot-by-shot stuff.
I see it. It's the same movie.
The water scene for Ike is the same as the manure scene for Buford. I said Wyatt Earp is just a ripoff of Marshall Strickland. And you see that photo of the way that they're holding the shotgun, holding order, is exactly the same. Josephine looks like Clara Clayton. There's this scene in Back to the Future 3 where they're having the duel and Buford shoots Marty McFly. He goes down. Everyone's just stunned and silent, and he's looking around, and he starts the gun starts like falling and hanging off his finger, and he's walking kind of crooked like he's drunk, going like he's being cocky. It's the same scene as Curly Bill leaving the opium den and then going out and just shooting up the town for no reason. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I cannot believe how much of a lot of this is Back to the Future 3. So it's up on my Instagram there if you want to take a look and comment. Tell me your thoughts if you think Tombstone is has adapted a lot from Back to the Future 3. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about it. I would appreciate that. I'm trying to see if there's any other movie news. I think that's it for that. Some Netflix updates. May 8th, Lucifer Season 4 comes out. I'm very excited. Netflix picked it up after Fox let it go. So you definitely should check that out on May 8th if you haven't. It's supposed to be a lot darker and more adult, which I'm very excited about that. If you haven't seen it, I've said it last week and the week before. Sabrina, 2 seasons and the Black Christmas special. Really good. You should check that as well. And then there's a trailer that just came out for Will Smith Gemini Man on Netflix.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
It's him. I don't know the full concept of it, if he made a clone or something, but it's Will Smith both as an old and a young person at the same time in the movie. I'll have to go and explore this a little bit later. I didn't have time to watch this trailer because it just came out, and I apologize for that. Otherwise, I would have known.
The only thing I saw that's come on Netflix that I want to see this week is there's a new Anthony Jeselnik comedy special. Jeselnik, whatever it is. It's coming out, I think, like Sunday or Monday or something like that. It looks good. I'm gonna check that out. Okay. I like him.
Let's see, TV stuff. Oh, April 24th, which means it's out already on YouTube Premium. Season 2 of Cobra Kai.
Yep.
If you haven't seen Cobra Kai Season 1, it's a continuation of the original Karate Kid universe. It takes place 30 years 30 years after the third movie, not the fourth movie with Hilary Swank or the Jaden Smith movies. Those aren't part of the canon. This is all the original characters 30 years later, and picks up where they are in their lives, and it all goes back to Cobra Kai versus the Miyagi Dojo. It's really a good show. You should definitely check that out. May 31st on Amazon Prime. Even though it's a month away, I gotta push this more because it's so good. Neil Gaiman's Good Omen. I'm very excited about that. And especially excited because I'm watching season 2 of American Gods. And it's really good on Stars. Have you been watching any of that at all or no?
No.
Any interest?
Not really.
I would have thought it would have been something that would have piqued your curiosity. Aren't they making a Saga series? You're a big Saga fan, right?
I had heard they were, but then I had heard that they weren't, so I don't know. I don't know what's happening with it.
Okay, we'll have to look that up too. Jimmy Kimmel, in association with Norman Lear Productions, have announced that they're bringing back for a one-time live event. They're going to do a live All in the Family and their Jeffersons.
Why?
Archie Bunker's going to be played by Woody Harrelson. George Jefferson's going to be played by Jamie Foxx. Edith Bunker is going to be played by Marissa Tomei. And Gloria, Archie and Edith's daughter, is going to be played by Ellie Kemper. If you don't know who she is, she was the redhead receptionist on The Office. She's also Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix. She's kind of a big deal. And I forgot who they said was going to play Wheezy. Damn it, I don't have those. I thought I had those notes with me. But anyway, you can look that up. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out because all the content they did, and that was in the early 70s, was kind of risque for what they did on CBS in the time. You can't do some of that stuff now. The language that, even though once it was understood that Carol O'Connor, who was playing Archie, was pretending to be a bigot to show the arrogance and the idiocy of being a person like that. Even if you're doing it with the best intentions, I think people are just going to be offended if you tried to do Archie in any way, shape, or form like Carol O'Connor did it.
Or they'll just be like, oh, it's just, it's just what America is now again.
I mean, they could. It's portraying something that's accurate, but even though it's being accurate, can it still be deemed this is too offensive? You can't even get away with it, even though you're saying the truth.
I don't know.
Archie called his son-in-law a big dumb Pollock.
Oh yeah, I mean they're not gonna be able to say that.
No, I mean it's not good to say, but it's the least offensive of all the other things that can be said, and you can't even get away with that. He used to had slurs for Asian people, for black people, for Jewish people. Like he just ran the gauntlet of what it was like for people in those times for the things that they would say. I'm just curious, and if ABC Network is what it's gonna air, how are they gonna get away with that? Like if it was FX or HBO, that's one thing, but doing it on ABC, which is the softest of all of the major 4 networks, how is that gonna fly?
I mean, dude, this is just like going back to Woodstock, man. It's just people going back to the well. They have no ideas what to fucking do anymore. That's what it is. I'm more upset at the fact that they think this is a good idea and that we have to like rehash this old show that people, don't even barely remember, or because they're not even that. I don't know, man. Like, I just don't care. Like, I don't know how to describe it, dude. I just don't give a shit. That's why I don't watch TV. I just don't care.
I get it.
Like, I just don't care.
Just reporting on what they're doing.
Ugh.
Finally, before we go, Disney Plus. There's been a lot of talk about what's been going on with Disney's streaming network, and over the last couple of weeks, more and more has been revealed as far as what they're going to do with it and what properties are going to be a part of it. So here are some updates for the Disney Plus service, which is going to launch on November 12th. The price points are $7 a month, which isn't bad, or if you want to pay for the year up front, it's $70. And that might be worth, I think you're going to see a lot more people buying the year plan, especially for those who have kids, because of the Disney Vault that's going to be available within the first year at your fingertips. You could just pop the, your TV or the tablet on and go, here you go, any Disney movie that they want to watch at your fingertips. It might be worth the $70 to a lot of parents just to say,
I'm sure they'll do that. That's a good deal.
So $70 for the year.
They'll pay that in one going to go see fucking Endgame this weekend.
Except
probably more than that. They'll probably pay more than that. If they have a family of 5 kids or 5 people, let's say mom and dad and 3 kids, you're getting drinks and snacks. That's over $70 right now.
My tickets
for the whole year.
I have one ticket, and what was it? It was like $19 for the IMAX 3D for the movie.
So $70 for a whole year, and you can watch it whenever you want on demand. It's a fucking fantastic deal compared to the movies.
It is a great deal. It'll have approximately 7,000 episodes of television series, and 400 to 500 movies are expected to be available on the service when it launches. Now, this part is interesting. When it launches, that much will be available, not over the course of the year. When it launches, that's insanely good.
Yeah.
So I'm sure from what I'm reading there, it's going to be a lot of the Fox properties, a lot of the stuff that Fox Television owns the rights to are going to be available, which will be shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy and Modern Family, and they don't own that show anymore. But excuse me, I was thinking of like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but that show has gone kaput. That's over at NBC now. What else do we have here? It's also includes some high-profile exclusive content, and eventually every movie in the Disney's expansive library, including a number of previously hard-to-find animated features, will be available. So Disney has announced that they're getting rid of that vault gimmick that they've done for the last 30, 40 years, where you have to go out and buy the VHS tape of Little Mermaid in 1989, 1990, because if you don't buy it now, it's going back in the vault, and who knows when it'll be released again. And then you have to wait like 6 years later for the movie to be available again. It was ridiculous, but it's what Disney used to do. Now they're getting rid of the whole vault concept, and it's all going to be available there for you. Now, I will point out, at this point, everybody thought that some of those really problematic productions were going to be part of this as well, like Song of the South, which is the big one, right? Up until the other day, everyone thought that it was going to be available, but then Disney made a specific notice saying that Song of the South will not be available in any way, shape, or form on the Disney properties. They're also going to edit the Disney animated movie Dumbo. The scene with the crows. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. One of the crows is named Jim Crow. I forgot all about that. So it's one thing that the crows sound like Southern black people, but also Jim Crow, for maybe you don't know your American history, or maybe you don't live in America at all. Jim Crow was a series of laws that were very racial in the South back in the day.
Yeah.
So having a black-voiced crow acting in black stereotype named Jim Crow, yeah, I get how that's a bit offensive. But where do you stand on that, about them editing that thing out of the movie? Does it even matter really to you, or is that big a deal, or should art like that stay intact?
Honestly, like, just either show it or don't show it. That's what it comes down to for me. Either show it and say, this is history, this is fucked up, and these things happened in it, but this is, something that we did, or just remove it, but don't edit it. That's how I feel. I feel like the same way when E.T. edited out the guns to put in walkie-talkies. Like, remember that shit? Like, why would you do that? Like, don't edit things. Either
people got so mad at Spielberg for that too when that came out.
Because it's really stupid. It's really fucking stupid.
Yeah. Because he said Spielberg defended his vision for editing that to soften. And he said, I always regretted putting the kids in direct harm with guns, pointed at them.
But now you put on the news and like people are just shooting kids. The police are just shooting kids in the street.
No,
so he wasn't too far off.
But remember, the movie was in the early '80s, and
no one had cell phones then.
The revision of the movie, the revision of the movie was in the mid '90s. So America wasn't what it is now.
That's like, I just don't understand like this editing stuff. Like, I mean, Song of the South, all these movies, they have like horrible racial overtones, and like really racist shit. But it's like, either show the movie or don't show the movie. And like, if you're going to show the movie, maybe just put a warning in front of it and be like, this is, at this time, like blah, 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 this is what was going on. This is how this was made. And you just try and tell people about it so they understand it. And then you can even say, yes, this was wrong. Like, this was not something that we look back on proudly, but this is something that's in our past, and we have to look at it. Like, I don't know, or just remove it, one or the other.
Well, since you brought that up, I will point out that Warner Brothers does that. They have movies in their library that you can purchase, download, rent, whatever, and there's a gold slate that goes in front of the movie before it starts from Warner Brothers saying, letting you know that this movie was shot in a different time in America when the values and opinions were much different than they are now. This does not reflect Warner Brothers' current outlook on the way of the world and life and what have you. This was specific to the time of when this movie was made. So you have this slate warning you at the beginning, and then they show the movie, and then it just plays as it was meant to be made and shown back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just got to show it. Just do it. Like, warn people. That's it. Right. Don't edit it. Don't take those scenes out. Don't like whitewash the past.
The last few points, and then we can get out of here. The studio's upcoming movie slate, which includes Frozen 2, Toy Story 4, Star Wars Episode 9, and a live-action remake of The Lion King, will also have exclusive streaming availability. Exclusive streaming availability on the service, with Captain Marvel becoming the first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie that will not be available on Netflix, because all the other Marvel Netflix Disney Marvel movies were showing up on Netflix. Now they're pulling here and there as their agreements expire. They're going to pull them away from Netflix and keep it only on the Disney service. And let's see, 25 original series for the first year. Original Marvel shows are being planned. TV shows are being planned for the service, including series based on Hawkeye, Falcon, and Winter Soldier, and Scarlet Witch and Vision. Series following the Avengers villain Loki is also in the works, with the original actors from the movie in the TV show, which is great. Several original Star Wars projects are also in development, including the one that everybody's been talking about right now, The Mandalorian.
Yeah, whatever that is.
It's a bar. It's a Star Wars bar.
Oh, okay.
And then The Simpsons are being moved off of Simpsons World and the FX network to be exclusive on Disney Plus as well. So there you go. That's the rundown of everything that we know for now. And with that music, that means we need to get out of here. So let's go do the plugs. Giddles, we turn to you.
Giddle Base on the Twitter, Instagram, and Xbox Live. And coming up May 19th, I have a taco takedown in Brooklyn. I don't know where it's going to be, but I'm going to do it.
Just come
I'm
and
just going to show up and challenge people.
Well, if you watch the news when they point out where Giddles lives after being the only person not going to see Endgame, then you can figure it's got to be in a 6-block radius from wherever he
somewhere
lives.
around there.
Somewhere around there. Just wander around. You'll find out where this taco takedown is going. As for me, it's iHeartRadio on social media. I think I'm going to be going to the Geek Flea Market that's happening in Kearney, New Jersey this weekend. It's on Saturday, April 27th. It's an all-day event. It's in the rec area in the basement of a church. It's actually a pretty cool event.
Yeah, it was fun last time I was there.
So I think I'm going to go venture out there on Saturday. And tomorrow, like I said, I'm going to see Endgame. Follow me on social media. I have no spoilers for Endgame, nor do I wish to give anything out on that. It's Erik Nagel across the board on social media. More importantly, for the show, follow the show there. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're 5 away at the time of this broadcast from hitting the 1,000 mark to unlock a couple of things for us. So if you can help us out, we greatly appreciate it. YouTube.com/itsErikNagel. If you can go there and subscribe, that would be great. Phone line 651-SMITHERS, 651-764-8437. If you want to leave a voicemail for a future broadcast, it could be played on the next program. And with that being said, it is time to get out of here. So until the next time, everybody, be excellent to each other and
have a wonderful time.
And we'll be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel.
Did you do it?
Yes.
What did it cost?
Everything.
Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For ways to listen to the show, go to itseriknagel.com. And remember to tell 2 friends so they can tell 2 friends.
And they can tell 2 friends. And they can tell 2 friends. And those 2 friends can tell 2 friends.